Welcome everyone to Collab Convo, a podcast dedicated to shining the light on the power of partnerships in the global tech marketplace. I'm Jo Dunkley, Managing Director of Coterie Marketing and co-founder of Coterie Connect Partner Marketing Community. In each episode, I speak to partner marketeers and alliance leaders about what's working, what isn't, and how to make partnerships deliver real commercial impact. And this week, I am absolutely delighted to be accompanied by Kevin Richards, Head of Partnerships UK, and I for Atos. So it's great to see you, Kevin. Just to start, would you like to give us a quick overview of your role at Atos and what you're responsible for?
Absolutely. Will do. Brilliant. Thanks, Jo. Great to see you. I am Head of Partnerships in UK within Atos. What does that mean? It kind of means everything, right? I think partnerships become a bit of a catch-all for what we do, and there are so many various partnerships within Atos. It's just quite kind of insane in terms of that marketplace at the moment. So as well as thinking about the larger picture, procurement partners, vertical partners, etc., my world is all about the kind of big technology partners. So within my team, we manage the cloud partners, the hyperscalers, AWS, Microsoft, Google, etc., technology partners, like Lenovo and Dell. We've got platform partners like ServiceNow and SAP, etc. So the list kind of goes on, and then links into other partnerships around cybersecurity and also the buzzword at the moment around AI as well.
Wow, that's a lot of partners to look after, Kevin.
It is. That's why I'm so busy.
Well, you're obviously not that busy, because I know that you've written a couple of books as well. Be the CEO of Your Life and Boarding Passes, Stories from the Road. So that's great. What motivated you to do that?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things. So they're very different. I always say that one's for the head, one's for the heart, right? So Be the CEO of Your Life has been an idea that I had ever since I kind of started in the corporate world, of reading lots and lots of books, and they were very specific about, a 500-page book on marketing, for example, or sales or finance. And I thought, wouldn't it be easy to kind of almost have a handbook to help people navigate that much, much quicker? And also, when you're trying to achieve things in life, regardless of what stage you're at, whether you're starting in your career, whether you're actually retiring, there's lots of synergies between a company, a house, a charity, a church, whatever it may be. All organizations kind of work the same. So I try to put it all in one place to help people become motivated to achieve goals. So that was kind of book one. Book two, I've had the privilege of traveling like widely around our beautiful world. But when I travel, things tend to happen to me. And I kept kind of repeating these stories to friends and colleagues. And they said, you should put it all in a book. So I did. So each chapter is a different story of my travels around the world, hopefully a little bit more lighthearted and gets a few laughs along the way.
Oh, that's great, Kevin. So let's start the discussion by maybe giving a little health check to the partnering space. So if you were a doctor in the partnering space, what would be your initial diagnosis? Because obviously you're coming from an alliance point of view, but the great thing is you've got a marketing background and you work every day with your marketing team as well. So it sort of goes hand in glove. But what's your initial diagnosis?
So
are we in good shape?
I think we are in good shape, right? Because particularly in the IT space, the world is moving so quickly, right? We're kind of in what I call the fourth revolution. So we had PCs as the first one, and then we connected them all with the internet as number two. Then we put it all in the cloud as number three. And now we've got this big thing called AI, right? And although it's changing the way we do things, it's creating loads of opportunity for new synergies, new ideas, and generally new opportunities and revenue growth, right? So I think we're in a really good place. I think the problem is that partner management hasn't really moved on yet to catch up. And it's very cyclical, right? So all companies know it's important, but no one quite knows how to measure it and make sure that it's effective. So I think we're still stuck a little bit, but the opportunity is massive, and it's a good place to be right now.
Yeah, we talked a bit about this at the event that we had a couple of weeks ago, and how, we've traditionally been looking at tiering systems. So you look at partners with the most revenue and the least revenue, and you reward them. And using AI for management as well, Kevin, you can get a more real-time view. So I guess that's what you're saying, isn't it? How can we revitalise the way we manage how we look at partnering, like measurement and things like that, in a more time way, really,
Yeah,
on potential, forward looking rather than backward looking.
yeah, exactly. Because the partners have changed or
Yes.
changing as well, right? If you think there's this whole new bunch of partners out there which are AI driven, they're small, agile, hyper growth organizations that us kind of large systems integrators, IT companies aren't used to kind of working with, right? So
Yeah.
that means the metrics might have to change in order to keep up with, the demand and the pace that we're kind of currently moving. So it's an interesting space, most definitely.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything that we could be doing to get it into a healthier place than we are now, Kevin?
Yeah, I think we need to stop siloing, right? Both within our organizations where we see things very clearly as that's marketing, that's sales, that's partnering. I think it all starts to really come together.
Yeah.
And I think we need to approach it in that way. And the second thing is, I think we need to be better at not just saying, well, we've worked with this partner for the last 15 years, so we're going to keep working with them forever. We need to start being a lot better kind of reviewing that partner ecosystem and understanding where the benefits are going to come, where the revenue is going to come from, and where the growth is going to come from.
Yeah. Is this just going off piste a little bit? Is this what in your mind is revenue enablement? Because it's been a bit of a buzzword that's been going around for some time, but my view of what that is having every department aligned, not just marketing and sales and then everyone else doing everything else. It's about choosing the direction and the objective and the strategy with the partner, and then everyone is going in the same direction. And for me, that's revenue enablement. Do you agree with that,
Yeah, no,
Kevin?
absolutely. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So rather than, historically we've gone partner management looks after partners, marketing looks after marketing. We're trying
Yeah.
to pull all that together, right? So actually the machine becomes marketing, partnerships, propositions, go to market. It all kind of leads and feeds as one. So therefore,
Yeah.
you're creating opportunities because effectively you are a part of the marketing machine, right? It's almost the one to many. My customer base isn't necessarily my partners; it's the sales community, and it's enabling them to go out and sell. So, it's kind of one to many approach. How do we do that differently? How do we align all those bits to make sure that it is a fully encompassed, direction and approach to it, rather than just
Yeah.
being you can work with this one partner, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I do think it's a trend that is coming on really strong. And I think people that get it right, it can really motor up, especially a big organisation like Atos, Kevin, where you've got so many
Absolutely.
people that, if they're going in all in the right direction or the same direction even, it can help things grow somewhat. Where do you see the biggest gap is between how partner marketing is talked about internally and how it actually performs?
Well, I think this is an age-old problem, right? And I come from before I became a marketeer, I was actually in sales and account management, and marketing was just that fluffy thing, right? That kind of overhead to the business. No one really understood from a sales perspective what they did because sales went, oh well, we actually close the sales, we bring in all the revenue. They didn't see the engine that was behind it in terms of that marketing effort that went in. And I think
Yeah.
that as we're now moving forward, people are appreciating that that is a key element of that machinery to make it tick. So that's what I was saying about kind of joining it up in terms of the go-to-market strategy with partnerships, etc., to make sure that you are driving marketing as a core kind of central piece to that and really monopolizing on all the stuff that partners can bring you as well.
Yeah, and I think the technology that we have got, we can make use of today is really helping that. I've had lots of conversations with CMOs that are quite excited about, being market led rather than sales led or product led, and about marketing being able to lead the way because they've got that information through AI and data. So That for me is quite exciting. Coming from a B2C background, that would always been the way it would have worked. So it was quite a shock for me when I went into the B2B world, and it just wasn't like that at all. So I think the tools and the tech that's available these days to marketeers is really going to help that as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's where the growth comes from, right? Because I think historically we've sold IT stuff to IT people, right? And the world has now changed because we need to sell, for outcome based decisions. So we
Yeah.
should be selling to businesses who are trying to solve a problem, right? Now, to understand what those problems are, you need to understand and be able to market and understand what that customer segment looks like, for example, right? It moves it away from a sale to being something which is, replicable over and over again, rinse and repeat, which is where you want to get to, because it also takes
Yeah.
the cost out of the sale, puts it into the marketing engine, and really kind of pushes that forward.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So, just moving on a bit, Kevin. So, it's clear that everyone's got ambitious growth plans, and we know that partnerships account for a huge slice of that in the tech space in today's company revenues. But one question that we don't discuss enough is how do we know which partners to invest in? And I guess this is key to your job, isn't it? Where you focus your time. How do you decide where to invest your time? And other things as well, like budget, because I'm sure that you're investing in partners as well. And what are the signals that you look for to back up those decisions?
Brilliant question. So I think that's always a little bit of trial and error, right? Because you've got to get things wrong in order to get it right. But when you look at the kind of picture in terms of how we invest and how we choose those partners, it's a mixture of things because there are some which in the environment we're in, we have to partner with, right? So the likes of AWS and Microsoft, etc., you've got a partner. There's kind of no choice around that. When we look at partnerships where we have more choice, it's about how we partner and how we measure the success of that partnership. So if you think about that, we need to be open, right? That's the point on both sides, and that's how we kind of measure that success as well, right?
Yep.
And very, very quickly, because you get obviously a lot of people reach out who want to partner with you, want to be a part of that journey, but they're not necessarily either the right fit or actually you think they are the right fit. You start down a road with them, but nothing happens, right? And the reason nothing happens is because we're not sharing. There needs to be a committed, almost like a memorandum of understanding between both organizations of what you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it. So that will mean being very open and transparent, sharing account lists, targets, customers that you want to go and attract and how you can attract them, making sure that the partners you're working with have the kind of propositions that can make you more sticky for a client, right? And get that kind of repeat business that we've been talking about as well. So there's a number of different things there that we would kind of measure within that relationship to make sure it's successful for us, for them, and obviously for the client as well.
Yeah. So openness seems to be the key word there, collaborative. Could someone be collaborative and open, but maybe not be the perfect strategic fit and you would consider it? Or does it literally you have to tick all the boxes?
No, I think it depends, right? Because we're driven by the needs of our clients at the end of the day. Our customers, like everybody, customer is king. So if there is a need and a want and a desire for a particular outcome, then we would look to partner with whoever we need to partner with to make that outcome happen. So that's what would be the kind of key driver behind that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we would discount people or include people purely on that basis, right? There are a number of other things that we would have to take into account for that as well. But I think the openness is absolutely key, right? I remember being back in sales and talking about people becoming native. It was a bad thing, right? You go, oh no, they've gone native because they're now supporting their customer so much that they're kind of against the company. I think it's great. The teams and my team and how we work, you almost it becomes blurred whether they're an employee of the partner or an employee of Atos because we work so well together.
Amazing.
We create that team environment that we have a shared common goal, right? And I think that again comes back to that openness and that transparency to want to do business and want to grow business.
And I guess an outcome can be a lot of things, can't it? It can be a proposition that you jointly want to take to market. It could be a particular deal even.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be, absolutely strategic. An outcome is actually quite a good key word for it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget the propositions. They could be propositions that we build on our own as Atos. They could be propositions that are purely partner led. They could be something that which we do as a combination of both, right? So propositions is quite a loose term, but we can always drive a proposition if we can see a need within the market, right? And it's just making sure you've got the right partners in place to do that.
Yeah. So on the reverse side, Kevin, what are the sort of signals where you think, oh no, this is not going to work at all?
So for me, there's probably three things. Number one, I think you have to have that openness. And if that openness isn't there, if people aren't sharing, or even though it looks good on paper, if they're not sharing and willing to work and open the kimono, as it were, then nothing's going to happen, right? It's just going to stall. And I think that's number one. Number two, it does come down to the relationships, right? It's like people only buy from people. I still believe that's true, even in the world of AI. Same with relationships. It all comes down to that people relationships. Can people work together? So that's number two. And number three, it's got to work throughout the organization. So, for a lot of our key partners, we will have executive sponsors and make sure that there are regular, conversations between them to kind of build the strategy of what both organizations want to do, right the way down through the organization to make sure we're entwined within both companies.
It's really interesting, isn't it? So from my point of view as MD at Coterie, we do a lot of proposition development, and with AI coming in, there is the opportunity to maybe shortcut some of the methodology that we once used developing those propositions. So we would do a lot of workshops, for instance, or we would do a lot of interviews. And workshops are really laborious and they can be time consuming for customers. So we're very mindful of that. But from experience, what those workshops have done have brought partnerships together. And oftentimes we've found that some of the partners have not met each other before. So those workshops have been really, really valuable, Kevin. So I guess what you're saying is get together, go and have dinner, get to know each other. Really, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Quite often, our approach within Atos is actually to get account teams from the partner and us together in a room, right? To work out, what do you know? What do we know? What's the white space? How can we create something for our client together, right? It comes from those workshops, those conversations. That's where the seed comes from. And my role is about creating opportunity, creating revenue, creating pipeline. So if you're not having those conversations, nothing's going to happen, right? So it's still, again, it comes back to the people thing, but it comes right down to, if you haven't got those fundamental building blocks in place, nothing will happen.
It's not going to happen. So just before we wrap up, I'd really love to sort of shift gears slightly and talk about your experience as a leader in partnerships. So looking back at your career, what's made the biggest difference to your progression in this area? Because you've always been in this area, Kevin, haven't you? Even, you've been in account management and marketing as well, but you've got a lot of experience here.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to the fact of what drives me as an individual, which is the relationship. Like a lot of people get a buzz out of getting that contract signed or whatever. For me, it's that building, sustaining those relationships, right? So that's always driven me. And I've mentioned people several times during this, but it comes down to building those relationships out people-wise, right?
Yeah.
Person to person. And I think that's what's stood me in good stead because, even when having the ability to work in a partnership which isn't going well, but because the relationship is good, it's fixable, right? So I think really focusing on the people element, the relationships is kind of the real key driver behind all of this stuff.
I can totally resonate with that. You know, if we've had jobs go wrong sometimes at work, we've got good relationships with clients and we can sit down and have those conversations. That's great. What advice would you give to
Yeah.
someone who's thinking about a career in this area?
Yeah, do it, right? I think it's so, particularly in the IT field, it's so fast paced and so movable that there's always something new. There's always different challenges, things going on to keep you really engaged and interested in what you're doing and trying to move things forward. Um, I think if I could go back in time, I'd have probably gone into this sooner in my career. The true kind of partnership element, because it
Yeah,
is really rewarding. You can see the result, you can see the outcome, and it's just loads of fun along the way, right?
yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. So, thank you so much, Kevin. You've just given us some great advice there. Before we wrap up, I'm going to ask you one final question. So, what's your motto in partnering, in partner marketing?
Um, I would say it's actually I've got two mottos, right? Actually,
Oh,
so I'll
right,
leave you
okay.
with both of them, just to be different. So the first
Spoiling
one
us.
is win, win, win. You've always got to, because everything we want to do has got to be repeatable if we can. So we've got to win, the partner's got to win, the client's got to win, and they've got to feel like they've won, right? So that's number one. Everyone needs to win.
Great.
The
Yeah.
second one is the power of three plus, which is gone are the days of just us partnering with one partner. It's now about multiple partners coming up with true
Yeah.
solutions, becoming stickier. So that's why I'm saying the power of three, us plus a partner, or plus several partners, is absolutely key if we're going to move forward in this environment.
Yeah. Great. Great advice. Ecosystems, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks again for listening and watching, everyone. And we'll see you again for the next Collab Convo edition.